Hello, everybody. I trust we are doing well. It's your boy Joseph Malto. I've come your way once again, and this time around, I want us to look into the R programming software, the R programming language. I know a couple of us might have come across the R software, or perhaps might have heard of it and is wondering what it's all about. And so, by this short video, I'm going to give you a tips on all that you need to know as far as the R programming software is concerned, right? So to get started, we must first of all have the software being installed on our desktop or laptop, right? And so to download the R software, you are going to type, or you'll be able to download the R software on the POSIT app, right? On the POSIT, so just take any browser and then type R download. Then from there, you come to this interface where I'm scrolling the cursor over, right? So when you get to this interface, that is where you'll be able to download the software, right? This will be able to download the software. So from here, you can just scroll down. You can see to my left-hand side, we have what? Install R. And so just click on what? Download and install R. Then in similar vein, to my right-hand side, you see what? Install R Studio, right? Install R Studio. So you just click on it. Then you'll be able to what? Download or have the software being installed and downloaded on your desktop, right? Now, someone might be of the view that, well, for him or her, he's not using a Windows, but maybe Microsoft OS. So in that case, you have to scroll down and then what? Click on this particular one, right? If it is Windows that you are using, Windows 10, Windows 11, you just click on what? This particular link, and then you have the software installed on your desktop, right? Again, one might ask, what's the difference between R and that of the R Studio? Which one am I supposed to use? And I mean, question like that. Simply put, the R is the original software, but as times goes on, people came together, or researchers were able to come together to upgrade, to make the R software more user-friendly. So in other words, the R Studio is just an IDE, okay, of the R software. The R Studio is an RDE of what? The R software. Now, one good thing about the R software is that, one, it is what? An open source programming language, right? What do I mean by it's an open source programming language? You do not need to have a license to use that particular software. There are some software such as Matplot. So for such software like that, you need to have a license to be able to access the software. But in the case of the R Studio, we are fortunate enough that we are not going to have to pay for any license before we'll be able to have access to the software. Like I said, it is an open source statistical programming language. Now, let me give you a quick background about the software. One will ask how or why the name R, right? I believe the name R was as a reason to the artist of the software. You know, the R was created in the year 1993 by two great statisticians, right? Rose Ihaka and that of Robert Gentleman. So these two parties were actually students at the University of Auckland when they came out with what? This software. And so Rose Ihaka and what? Robert Gentleman. So when you take the first letter of their first word, it starts with what? R. Hence, that's how come the name R came about. Again, before R, there was one programming language called S. So we have the S programming language, all right? And so the R is more or less like an implementation of the S programming language. The R is an implementation of what? The S programming language, right? Like I said, R Studio is more user-friendly compared to the R because it's just an IDE of what? The R software. What do I mean by the term IDE? IDE simply stands for Integrated Development Environment. The truth of the matter is most programming languages have got several IDEs. Think about, take Python for instance. Python is one powerful software that has many IDEs. We have the Jupyter Notebook. That's one ID of the Python software. We have Jupyter Lab. We have PyCharm. We have Spider. We have IPython. So all these are what IDEs. The IDEs are just working environment that make the software more user friendly, right? So today I'm not going to go much into Python. Like I said, we are doing R, the R programming language, right? Okay, so why R? Apart from the fact that it's open source, why then what again or what has R got for us to do? R is as powerful as Python. And so apart or despite the fact that it's an open source software, it works on different platforms. I realized when I was taking you through how to download it, we came across an option where you can download on a Mac, on a Linux, or on a Windows. Right. So this is also an added advantage that the R software works on what? Different platforms. Again, it is a great resource for analysis. If you're an analysis enthusiast person, then you really love the R programming language or the R studio because it is a great resource for what? Data analysis. Again, it is used in many statistical techniques. You can talk of statistical testing, classification, clustering, those that are in tune to machine learning. These are stuff that you can equally use the R software to what to do. Is that okay? Again, it is easy to use in terms of what graphics and visualizations. You can easily have your graph being drawn for you nicely. You can have a pie chart being drawn. You can have a histogram. I mean, name all other graphs that you might want to use in your analysis. So whenever you want to make any graphical visualization, then R is there to be of great help to you. Is that okay? Yeah. So quick one. Having downloaded the R, let's look at how it looks like. Okay. Let's look at how it looks like. Now, having gone through the procedure, and if you've been successful in downloading the software, then now let's start the R software. To start the R software, you need to what? Click or open, just click on the R icon, right? And then it will open the R software for you, the interface. And so I'm going to open mine right away for you to have a feel of how it looks like. Good. So if you've been successful in downloading the R software, then that is how it looks like. And I've got a short story to share with you. The first time I came in contact with the R software, I mean, I just opened it and not knowing what to do immediately, how to close it again. I was kind of like, what is this? I don't understand anything. So as soon as I open the software, then I close it again, right? So you can choose to do that if you want to. Now, this is the R programming software or language. This is the interface. You know, every software or programming language has got its own unique interface. But for R, this is the interface of R, right? So you can see where I'm moving the cursor over. That is what we call the console or the R console. That is where you're going to do your work, your graphics, your whatever. That is where it's going to be done. Let's take a quick example. Let's do some numerical calculations, right? Let's do 14 plus 16. So I'm going to type where the cursor is over here. I'm going to type 14 over there. And then from there, I'll do plus 16. Okay. And so we all know that whenever we sum 14 and 16, our result is going to be what? 30, right? So when you do that, it will give you that result. Okay. Now, most often, you might want to create a script that you use in your R. Okay, so what the script does is that it gives you another layer, another subsection in the entire R screen. Okay, so just go to the file at the top left. So from there, you see what new script. You select new script, and you can see what an editor being what open for you. So here is where we can do what any other workings at any other working at. But for the purpose of this class, we are going to use the R Studio. You'll be using the R Studio instead of what the R. the explanation is still the same. Okay, but when we get to the R Studio, I'll explain into further details the difference between the R and R for the R Studio. All right, so quickly, I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this and then open the R Studio software. The R Studio software. Good. So here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with our R Studio software. Here we are with our R Studio software. Have you seen the R Studio software has also gotten a different interface? If you can all see that, the R Studio has also gotten what? A different interface compared to that of what? The R. So this is the interface of the R Studio. When you open it by default, you are supposed to see three interfaces. You are supposed to see what? Three interfaces. Right. Supposed to see three interfaces. So to my extreme left-hand side, that is what we call the console. The console, right? And to my extreme right-hand side, you can see two subsections. You can see two subsections. And what are they? We have the environment. We have the environment. And then beneath the environment, we have another subsection. And what is that? That is what we call the output. That is what we call the output. So for now, we've opened the software and we are learning the various sections and subsections and what names. Okay. So we've got what we call the console. Like I said, that is the biggest bar at my extreme left-hand side. And then at my extreme right-hand side, we have two subsections. We have the environment and what? The output. So today, if you didn't hear or learn about anything at all, you've got to understand the various subsections in the R and R for the R Studio. But for some of us, or for those of you that have already been used to the software before, when you open the R Studio, you are going to have four sections or four subsections, right? I'll explain that in my next video when we get there. So for now, when you open the R Studio for the very first time, these are the three interfaces that you need to what come across. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.